Yo, what's going on? This is Divine Thought, and I'm here to tell y'all what it is, what it ain't, and what it look like. Welcome to Who Day Vision. This is my first video I'm dropping. Been saying I was gonna do it for a while, but I finally got around to it. All right, check this out. First and foremost, I seen the biases. I seen the Civil War. I seen Team Chase. I seen Team Pitts. I seen Team Sewell. Me personally, always stood by Team Houday. Because I felt like we was in a win-win situation. We couldn't lose. But anyway, seen a lot of people sour. Very, very sour. Like spoiled milk. Because we didn't draft Penei Sewell. But it's time to drop the biases and drop the hate. Come on and jump on board. We got JaMarr Chase, number one. To me, the best receiver in the draft, arguably. Yes, Devontae Smith, better route runner. But Devontae Smith is very slight of frame. He's older. I don't know how his body's going to hold up over a 17-game schedule with grown men trying to knock his block off. But what I do know, that monster that we drafted with our first pick, JaMarr Chase, fast. You could tell over the year that he had off, he'd been working on his body. The man ran a 4.34 40. He's 6 foot, 201 pounds, ripped, solid muscle. This dude is a brick house. I mean, this dude is just swole. Then on top of that, the man had an 11-foot broad jump. That's crazy. And then on top of that, he had a 41-inch vertical leap. Now to put that in perspective, LeBron James, he jumped 40. JaMarr Chase jumps 41. The man got ups. Has a solid 10-yard split. 3-cone is solid. Shuttle time is ridiculous. And the man shows it on the field. Now, when he was dominating in 19, he was 19. Dominating first-round cornerbacks, the second cornerback of the draft that was taken last year, C.J. Henderson, getting 8 alive. Surtain getting 8. The kid that Dallas took last year from Alabama, getting 8. The kid that was drafted that went to Clemson in the first round by Atlanta got 8. By 19-year-old JaMarr Chase. And granted, he runs good routes, but he can get better. Granted, he's strong, but he got stronger. Sometimes, if you watch the film, he spends a little too much time getting off of press coverage. But man, he be manhandling these dudes. JaMarr Chase, it doesn't matter where he is. If the ball is in his hands, he can take it to the house. And I've seen some people that's just so bitter and upset and mad. Oh, he gonna be another John Ross. Man, please. In the words of Chad Johnson, child, please. This man is physical. This man is not just fast. This man is physical, agile, and fast. And he's crafty. Now that right there, if you watch when they went against Clemson, the cornerback was right there with him. And he just did a slight turn of his hips. And that got him, what, an additional half a yard to be able to catch a pass that he took to the house. Cornerback was draped all over him. Crafty. Crafty. And then if you go back and you look at his video, one thing that I definitely know he needs to get better at. Sometimes he has a hard time, or he just don't put the effort in on blocking, which to me is just baffling. When he wants to, oh, he can put his hands on you. But man, we gonna need you to actually lay hands on people up here, because we gonna need you to do that. We gonna need you to open up them lanes, help open up them lanes for Joe Mixon. While you out there blocking them wide receivers and them safeties. We need you to put that effort in. But the man is nice. That's what it is. What it ain't, he's not John Ross. What it ain't, he's not going to be a bust. He's not. When you look at his age projection, right? When he was doing what he was doing, he was at the age of 19. Granted, he took a year off, but with that year off, he was working, obviously, on his body and on his technique. When he comes in to Cincinnati, he's only going to be 21 years old. Every matrix that you see on JaMarr Chase, it shows that this man is going to be, he's going to be very good. And my comparison to him is Sterling Sharp. Not Shannon Sharp. Shannon Sharp was Sterling's brother. Shannon was a tight end. Sterling was a wide receiver that played for the Green Bay Packers. If you've never heard of him or never seen him, go and look him up on YouTube. The man was an absolute monster. Similar size to JaMarr Chase. So when we hear people that's bitter because their favorite player wasn't taken, oh, we should have got Pitts. Well, we couldn't have got Pitts. Atlanta got him. Oh, we should have got Sewell. Well, they had another player they had their eye on, which I would get to later. In Sewell, I don't get necessarily the generational thing, because if you remember, Becton was a lot bigger than Sewell and a lot more athletic. Just my thought. But I think Sewell had the biggest upside in the draft, but he was by no means a perfect prospect. If you know, I played football in high school. I played defensive end, defensive tackle, and sometimes I played linebacker. And when I watch football games, my eyes are always fixated on the line. I love it down there. So when it comes to technique and leverage and foot movement, hand placement, I know what I'm talking about. When you watch Sewell, sometimes he is so aggressive. His hand placement against better competition will leave him on the ground or just whiffing. He's strong. He's athletic. He can move for a man his size. But sometimes his footwork, when a defensive end come and that first initial contact is made, sometimes you see him stop his feet. You're not going to be able to do that in the pros. You're going to have to keep them puppies moving, because you're going to have somebody that may try to do a rip, or they may try to do a jab in the spin after punching you in your chest. You know what I mean? And that's another thing. Everybody wanted to dog Jonah Williams about his arm length when he came out. Oh, he only got 33 and his length, he need to move the guard. Well, Jonah's length is actually longer than Penei Sewell's. But you ain't hear all that. Interesting. But anyway, I think Penei is going to be a very good tackle. Generational, I didn't see it. Technically, the person that I felt was the best technician in the draft was Slater. And Slater and Sewell's arm strength is about the same. Granted, Sewell is bigger. Absolutely. But Slater is a technician. He knows how to go against players that have long arm length and how to neutralize that. When somebody had like Chase Young, I know everybody like using the Chase Young video for him, but Chase had tried to put his hand in his chest, and Slater grabbed him and pulled him closer. Which, what did that do? Why does that matter? The reason he did that, because it took away the advantage that Chase had. Chase Young couldn't then just dip and go under or control him all the way back to the quarterback. And every time that you watch Slater, you see him against people when he has a disadvantage in length. He either grabs the shoulder pad and pull it down some. He push the arm off of him. You know, he chops it down, or he pulls him closer, and then he drops his butt. He drops his anchor. Why? Because after I got you, I got my hands on you, I can control you. You can't get out of my grip. You don't see that with Sewell. Sometimes Sewell catches players. Those are things that can be coached up. And if Sewell get his feet and his hand placement together, Sewell is going to be an absolute monster. But we don't have as many questions with JaMarr Chase. What it look like? Bengal fans, it looked like we just going to have to strap in this year. I think we're going to have one of the best offenses in the NFL this year. I think one player that people are constantly either dogging or acting like he doesn't exist is C.J. Uzomah. C.J. Uzomah, if you remember, before he got hurt, him and Joe Burrow had a beautiful connection. They had that thing going on, like, you know, Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones. They had that connection going on, right? They had a thing going on. Because, see, Joe Burrow likes his tight ends. You see how he made Moss, who, granted, very intelligent, strong, and has great hands, but athletically very limited. But he made Moss look like a monster. Now, if y'all remember, when we drafted C.J. Uzomah out of Auburn, C.J. Uzomah came from an offense that they didn't really pass like that. So he wasn't able to get the coaching on route running. He was very raw when we drafted him. We was drafted, I believe, in the 5th round, right? But when you looked at his athletic profile, the man is 6'5", almost 6'6", 263 pounds, and ran the 40 in 4.65, 4.67. The man has shown that he can stretch the field. He can press that seam. He has shown that. We have not used our tight ends on a consistent basis. With Joe Burrow, that stops. C.J. Uzomah, no, he's not Pitts. No, he's not all these other great tight ends, but he's no slouch. And when you have JaMarr Chase, T. Higgins, who is a monster in his own right, the only reason T. Higgins isn't the number one receiver in our offense because he can't consistently take the top off the defense. Everything else he can do. The reason that Tyler Boyd, who was another monster, isn't a number one receiver is because he doesn't have the speed to take the top off the defense. But he's a technician. The best slot receiver in the NFL. So you got 3 monsters. And I like Tate too. But you got 3 monsters out there. Who you think they're going to pay attention to? I tell you who they're not going to pay attention to. C.J. Uzomah. And guess who's going to eat C.J. Uzomah? And then on top of all that, you got that monster. And I'm so glad Zach made this comment. They're going to try to keep him on the field as much as possible. Good, because they need to utilize him in the receiving game. This man can catch. Go and look at his Oklahoma video. Joe Mixon is a beast at the receiving game. They need to utilize that. Run more screens for him. Let him run some slants out of start in the backfield, then move over to the other slot position, and then run a slant or run a zig route. You know what I mean? Up and go. Have him run some of these routes because he has the size, the agility, and the speed to do something. Linebackers are not going to be able to guard him. So, also, I believe our offensive line is in a much better position than it was. And I'm going to tell y'all, I know everybody hates this man right now. But Michael Jordan, when he came out of Ohio State, the scouting report on him, and if you know football and you watch it, you know what his weaknesses were. He was raw. He had bad hand placement and his footwork was not that great. So when he came in, you knew he was raw, but you had somebody that was incompetent, Jim Turner, putting this man in when he was not ready. And then Jim Turner, not that great of an offensive coach, period. Offensive line coach, period. So now, when you look at what is Michael Jordan's strength? Size, 6'6", arm length. This man can push people and keep them at bay. When he extends his arms, it's a wrap if he got his hands on you. But that's one of the biggest problems. Sometimes he misses with them hands. Technique work he needs. He's not Eric Steinbach or nobody, but he's not as stiff. He can move his feet. But the issue with him is hand placement and footwork. He's decent with leverage. He can get better. And that's why I'm so excited that we brought Pollock back. Because of Michael Jordan and also Hakeem Adeniji, I think he has talent. He showed. But where his issues came in is when it came to his hand placement and his footwork as well. Adeniji can move them feet. He can move his feet. He showed that last year. He showed it at Kansas. He can move them feet. He just needs coaching up. So, with going back to Michael Jordan has been working with the great Willie Anderson. And I don't know if y'all have been on Willie Anderson's Instagram page, but Willie has been working with him and Parrish from Ohio State. And if you look at the condition that Michael Jordan's in, this man is rocked up. This man, you don't see all that baby fat you seen the first 2 years. He put in work this offseason. And then you can also see Willie Anderson working with him on his feet. How to take when a defensive tackle jab left, how you got to move your right foot back at a certain angle, and how you have to put that hand right in the solar plex. I mean, he's showing him technique that he needs, that he should have been getting from Pollock. But Zach Turner wanted to move on from Pollock and hire Jim Turner, whatever. So now he has Willie Anderson working with him. And he also has Pollock that's going to help develop him. Don't give up on that young man. So what it looks like we're going to have one of the most exciting offenses in the NFL. Hopefully, Trey Turner. Ugh. Everybody wants Trey Turner. But hopefully, Trey Hopkins come back healthy. Because I think Trey Hopkins is the best center we've had since Rich Brown. And at times we can't see that because of the guard play has been so horrible around him. But he's another guy that has a long wingspan that's strong and can move his feet a little bit. You know what I mean? And I think he could be a heck of a center. Right now he's been playing average. You know what I mean? But you look at the people he have around him, that's why he's working. That's why he looks average. But I believe that we will be one of the most exciting teams in the NFL next year. So I'm going to end that with the Who Dey vision. Much love, peace, and respect. And I will be dropping other videos on the other prospect. I'm out.